Hey, in this video, I'll be talking to you about how to get out of survival mode, how to get out of stressful living, how to reset your nervous system so you actually live in a more effortless, easeful kind of life. This is available to everyone. Unfortunately, most people live in stressful states of being. Just for homework for this video, I did a bit of research to find out what percentage of the population live in survival mode. And the figures I found are very, very alarming. Somewhere between 60 to 80% of the population in the US, obviously I'm in the UK, but the US population live in survival. In survival mode, life appears very limited. Life is very frightening. Think about it. Survival, you're fighting, right? You're scared all the time. You see separation. You don't see opportunities. You don't see the good things. You see fear. You see enemies. You see resistance, right? And if most of humanity is living in that state, then that might explain why humanity is so lost. And so what we need to do is we need to get people out of survival into a healthier state of being. So instead of fighting with life and seeing everything as a threat, you start to see it as something that is more friendly, more loving, something that you feel at home in and comfortable being here, not seeing enemies everywhere. Okay, that's available to everyone. But if you're living in survival, then it's not a reality for you. But what I want to do in the video is I want to make it a reality for you, because I've spent most of my life in survival, so I know how miserable it is. Right? It's a horrible way to be, horrible way to live. And it's not your fault because you were just conditioned into it, right? You didn't even know it was happening. You might not even know you are in survival. But if you have a lot of uncomfortable situations and you don't feel at ease most of the time, then there's a massive clue that this is probably something you need to work at. Now, before I get to these steps, I just want to say that this is a process. This isn't something you're going to do once and then immediately be living in some kind of spiritual consciousness higher realm. No, it's something you have to work at, because you've been conditioned to live in this state for so long, for so many years, probably decades, that your system gradually needs to learn a new way of being. And I hope you'll use the steps I give you to help you to find that new state of being. So I want to start with the goal here. The goal of what we are trying to do is to become more present. Okay. So presence versus identification. This is the battle. Most people are living in identification. What I mean by that is every time you have a thought, a trigger, something happens you don't like, you identify with it. You start to make a meaning out of it. If you have a negative thought, you think it means something about you. You feel something you don't like, or somebody does something you don't like, you make meanings and stories out of it, and we make it personal. That's all ego, okay? And when you're living in ego, you're living in survival. That's one of the biggest problems we have, is that people who have the biggest trauma have the biggest egos, right? That's not their fault. That's just a byproduct of the experiences they went through and how their system responded to it. You developed a big ego as a form of self-protection, right? Because you're living in survival because you were traumatized. And in trauma, you don't feel safe. So you move into survival mode to feel safer. The problem is there's no need for you to be in survival mode, because for the most part, especially in the Western world, life is relatively safe. You should feel comfortable and present wherever you are. So we need to stop identifying with egoic patterns of thoughts and feelings and triggers. Ego essentially lives on time. Anytime you have a thought about something and you get stuck in it, there'll be a past and a future attached to that thought. That is ego, that is survival. The opposite of that is to live in the present moment. In the present moment, there's no ego, there's no trauma. When you're fully present, you are at peace. Your system moves out of survival, moves into rest and digest. This is when your higher intelligence and functions come online. Your body functions better. You have clarity of mind. You think better quality thoughts, right? You are at peace in your body. You feel good just being. That's why you need to get into the present moment, right? Beyond it being anything spiritual, it's necessary just for you to enjoy your present moment experience, right? When you're in survival, in ego, you're identifying with everything, you're living on time, right? And time isn't going to be nice to you, right? Time is going to make you suffer. Depression about the past, anxiety about the future, you can't win that game. The only way out is to end time, right? And you only end time by becoming more present. So that is the goal of this practice I'm going to talk to you about. In fact, anything you're doing in life, for the most part, I hope you practice being present. That alone will transform your life more than anything. But if you're living in survival, it's difficult to get into a state of presence. So the first step I have for you, very, very important step, is you need to relax your body more and more, deeper and deeper. When you're in survival, your nervous system is constantly getting triggered and activated. Most people will be triggered all day long, but they won't even know it because it's just become habitual. They've become unconscious to it. But with self-awareness, if you can just begin to catch the times when your system is activated, you might be feeling tense, you might be feeling triggered somewhere in your body. You need to become very, very conscious of it. Very, very conscious. Every time it happens, you need to be able to catch it. And then you need to practice calming your system down. Relaxation works great for this. But again, at the beginning, this is difficult to do because for so long, you've been habitually going into survival and activation. Now you need to do the opposite. It feels like a lot of effort. It feels like you really have to use willpower and intention. And at the beginning, you need to. Because the unconscious programming, which is all in your body, has such a strong pull over you that it's almost impossible for some people to bring their system into the present moment and to relax it. But with repetition and practice, you will begin to relax it. Something Dr. Joe Dispenza says, actually, you might have heard, it's a great way to put it, is that you need to train your body to sit. Like you train a dog or an animal to sit, that's what you need to do with your body. You literally need to train your body to relax, okay? You'll be able to do it, but when it relaxes, you let go. And in that letting go, that's when you find the present moment, okay? You'll know when you get there, you'll feel it. Unfortunately, from my own experience, training your body to sit is probably harder than training a dog to sit or an animal to sit. Because the system is so personal. It feels like me. It feels like, oh my God, if I relax my body, then I won't be safe, right? Because you've associated safety with being in this activated, stressed out state. So slowly over time, you need to practice relaxation. There's actually good body scan meditations. If you look online and find body scan meditation, these are practices where you go through your body just relaxing each and every part of it. Okay? And as you do that, naturally you find more relaxation. Eventually, when you find that presence, that relaxation, your body will start to release. Some things I've experienced is just emotions coming up. Because once you're present, you can now start to process stuff. But until your body doesn't feel, if your body doesn't feel safe enough, you're not going to be able to let go of negative emotion, right? You're not going to be able to connect spiritually. You can try all you want, right? You're not going to get anywhere. Another interesting thing that happened to me when I started to release a lot of this stress out of my system and be more present was I started to feel tired, more tired, which wouldn't make sense. Like, why do you feel tired? Well, because my system was exhausted from running off stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. They are the hormones that are running most people, right? You might not feel tired. You might think, I'm not tired. Yeah, because you're being run by these stress hormones. But when you begin to move back into the present moment and you relax your system, you'll feel very tired. You'll sleep it off. You might sleep for a couple of days, not non-stop. You might have like 12-hour deep sleeps, a couple of them, and then your system will move back into a deeper sense of peace, right? Your body was so exhausted. It needed that rest. But don't worry, you get over it. It's only for a couple of days, and then you feel vitality and health and well-being, right? It's all there, but you need to find that peace in the body to access it. And you actually begin to find deeper parts of your well-being, because when your nervous system relaxes, you move more into the deeper parts of your mind, the deeper parts of your nervous system, which will automatically begin to bring order and wellness to your system, right? If you do this in meditation, you will find that, right? You move out of the thinking, anxious parts, the stressed out parts, and you move more into the rest and digest parts, which is very healthy, right? Everybody goes out there and goes to the gym and eats all the healthy food and whatever else we define as healthy these days, cold showers and stuff. I mean, I do this stuff, but ultimately, if your nervous system is not at peace, that stuff's like doing 20%. 80% of it is having your system at peace. 80% of it. That's the main thing. So if you're not doing the main thing, you're doing the working out and you're eating healthy and all of that, I think you're missing out on 80% of it. 80% of it is bringing peace to the system, right? Yeah, them things can be regulating, but essentially, if you're stuck in survival, from my own experience, they might just push you more into survival. And so I wanted to share with you another practice that you can attach to this, which is very, very helpful as well. And that is to experience embodying positive emotion. So these are emotions such as love and gratitude. These are the two emotions I practice regularly. So in order to do this, you bring your attention into your heart space, and then you bring up a positive emotion such as love, gratitude, joy, whatever you want, and practice feeling it. That's it. You just bring your attention there and practice feeling it. These emotions are of a very high frequency, and they send powerful signals to your mind, right? We have communication going on between our heart and our mind all the time. But 90% of the communication is going from the heart to the mind, right? It's going upwards. So if you are cultivating positive emotion in your heart, you are sending powerful signals to your brain to chill out, to relax. It is safe, because you only feel positive emotion when you feel safe and comfortable to do it, to feel it. So attach this when you are maybe doing meditation and relaxing your body. Start to practice feeling a positive emotion. At the beginning, it might be difficult because you're just not used to it. You're used to feeling anxiety or worry or depression. Now you are wiring in and feeling higher emotions, which are of a higher frequency. And if you are processing negative emotion, it's going to be easier for you to release them. It's going to be easier for you to process them, because the higher frequency of the positive emotion will literally dissolve the negativity. The power of your presence by doing this practice dissolves negativity, because your ego cannot exist in the present moment. Your ego is a byproduct of trauma. Your ego lives on survival, right? You take care of the survival, you find the present moment. You find the present moment, you find more peace, you dissolve the negativity. That's how powerful you are. That's how powerful your presence is. And then eventually you want to go out into the world and you want this to become your normal state of being. So when you've got used to feeling your system activated and used to calming it down, then when you go out into the world and you feel activation, guess what? Because you've been training it, you can calm it down. And then everywhere you go, people are stressed out and worried and whatever, and you're chill, you're calm. That's the person that you want to be. The person that you want to be is the chill person. Confident, calm, chill. That's the energy that you want. That's the energy that people want to be around, okay? But if you're like 60 to 80% of the population and you're stuck in survival, then it's going to be very difficult for you, impossible to have this type of energy. So work on developing a state of presence. Final point I'll make on this is read books about presence. These help me more than anything. Power of Now probably being the best one. Give that book a read. If you've read it, read it again. I've read it about 10 times and I'll probably read it another 10 times. So that's everything I've got to talk to you about in this video. If you want to watch more things like this, please check out these videos right here. But until next time, God bless.